All right, boys, welcome back to Engine Notes from Underground. You got the Underground Rider here. Taking off. Going to give you a little bit of a updated review on the Kawasaki now that I've got the Ivan's tune done. Today, I don't have a dead cat on this microphone. I'm running a little bit of a different setup, so apologies for any wind noise. It's a little chilly. It's, below 45, so I probably won't be up on the highway or anything today. Won't be going too quickly. So yeah, shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna get out on the road. Have a good old time. Sorry, but I got, oof. Hey, you ever put all your gear on and forget your key in your pocket? That's the worst. Also, I got like double gloves, and yeah, you know me, I like to wrap it before I tap it. So anyways, how y'all doing? Hope your day is well. Hope you are well, healthy, feeling the love of God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I don't judge. So yeah, this bike, the 2010 Kawasaki Z1000, any 3rd gen Z1000, they're a little different from the 4th gen. I'm going to get into those differences and why I actually prefer the 3rd gen today. And give you a little bit of an updated review on it. You can see my gold chains looking alright. I actually haven't lubed it in a little while. I haven't really been riding as much the last couple weeks since that shit with Trinity went down. It's been cold as shit too. But yeah, the bike's looking good, running good. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's get on the road. Time for the cold start. Like I was saying, it's got this tick because that one gasket right here is a little bit smushed, and you can't really, you can't like over torque the pipe to get it tighter. You know what I mean? So, I got it as tight as I'm comfortable tightening it to. But once it warms up, that tick goes away. The thing sounds pretty good. Hasn't been started in a good 2 weeks. Started right up. My neighbors have this, this dog that barks at me incessantly for like the last decade. Every time it's out here. So I don't feel bad about this cold start. My headlight, I had this aftermarket kit in here that came with the bike when I bought it from the dealer, bought it used. It went out. So I just took all this huge complicated ballast system and extra fuse and everything that was running out. And I just put this really cheap kit in here. I wired it actually into the brights. I only have one bulb in there right now. So when I had the bright switch on, I got one bulb. When I hit the regular switch, I got no bulbs. So I got a little bit of a blackout, right? But anyway, that wasn't necessarily done on purpose either. Couldn't really find a reliable schematic for this connector that I could understand. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just wing it. Let's see. This one definitely looks like a ground. And these two look like one of these is for the brights, one of these isn't, obviously. It worked out. Yeah, she's still a little cold. I'll close this up to try to cut back on some of the wind. But also, the way I have my camera mounted, I have one of those strap things that you can get off Amazon for probably I don't know, less than 20 bucks. And I found it stable enough, but it's not going anywhere. It's just I can't run my chin guard, my breath guard, whatever you want to call it, on this Shoei GT Air. So on a colder day like today, you feel it a little bit more. But yeah, alright, so back to the bike, right? How many miles we got? My freaking visor's so dirty. 21,000, about to click over to 21,600. I've had it since 3,000 miles. I'd probably have more miles on it by now, honestly, if I didn't have, you know, other bikes and projects and stuff that I'm always going on. But I've had it for like 3 years now. Picked it up. Funny, the price I picked it up for, you can't touch one of them with in the condition that it was in when I got it for that price anymore. I got it for like less than 6 out the door. I remember that. It was like 59 something out the door. 5,500. So 3,000 miles, you know, it had the Acura slip-ons. Couldn't beat the deal. Especially because I graduated high school same year these came out. I was totally infatuated with them back then. I loved them. My dad had a 75 Z1 that I loved. And to me, this was just like, meant for me, you know? This is my bike. And I found, since I've owned it, that absolutely is the case. I love this thing. It's the fucking shit. Tires are a little cold. We're gonna be careful. One thing I love about it, we just did that in like 4th gear. Yeah, 4th gear. This thing's got torque for days. It's like a truck. I am running these Power 5s. They don't like the cold. It is close to 40 degrees, so I'm gonna try and keep it easy. But yeah, bike handles like a champ, especially once you lighten it up. You know, everything from the tail, you know, the fender eliminator, to the 20 some odd pounds you get with a full exhaust system, to I mean anything you can do to it to lighten it up. You know, removing the pair valve system and stuff like that, servo delete, yada yada yada. There's some weight these bikes can lose. They can go from 480 to where this thing's sitting probably right now with a full tank, probably somewhere right in the low 460s, maybe even upper 450s, which is really good for what it is, you know, considering it makes at least 145 to the wheel. That's pretty good too. That's not too far off from a mid-2000s liter bike, you know, and it's got torque. Right here, hold on. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th gear, right? Can't go any higher. Here we go. I'm not even giving it a lot of gas. Easy on the clutch. Off the clutch. And away we go. 1 gear. Oh, hello. Wrong way driver. Look at that. Hey. All right. Thanks for making my channel, buddy. I'm telling you this right now, boys. You put a camera on your helmet, crazy shit fucking happens. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing. Anyways, so back to the bike. It's got power the whole way through the rev range. The handling is very neutral. Right now I'm running a 190/55 profile rear tire, right? And this 190/55, hey, we got our bike coming. This 190/55, I was gonna go up into that neighborhood, and now I'm gonna follow him. Again, this 190/55 is a much better profile shape because 190/50, it's like gentle and smooth to a point. Let's see what this car does. But then it kind of gets to its like edge and it kind of tips off, you know? This thing's still cold. I can hear it ticking. I didn't really want to get on it there. Here we go. We got the brother on the Sumo. 400. Woo! Yeah, buddy. Ah. Welcome to YouTube. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah, this bike runs like a beast. There you go. Is it an old E-Type or something? Fucking kit car? Probably a kit car. This Elk Grove. I mean, it's kind of, there's some rich people around here, but it ain't that rich. It's just that, like, that upper, ooh, that's a cop, by the way. That upper middle class. Hey, that's a trick, by the way, too. If you don't want to, like, super draw their attention by cutting out on the engine, you know, and, like, clutching in or throwing a downshift all of a sudden, just kind of stay neutral on the throttle and dab on that rear brake, drop it 5 miles an hour real quick. They don't fuck with you. Also, the speedo reads a little high. Also, Chicago suburbs, most of them, you don't get pulled over unless you're going like 15 over. That's kind of like the unspoken rule. You almost don't expect it. If you know that like 10 over, you're safe. Almost anywhere around here except for a couple of suburbs, like Mount Prospect, etc., etc. Anyway, so back to the Kawasaki. Here we go. Sometimes I put it neutral. Sometimes, reading the situation, I'll leave it in gear. Just depends. I don't like to sit there on my clutch all day, although I don't like to click it in and out of neutral all the time, too. Sometimes I feel like that's almost worse. You know, clutch is replaceable. A lot easier than these gearboxes are. Here we go, first gear. Got a great sound. That tick's going away. Now that we're a little bit more warmed up, which is hard for this thing to warm up. It's always been a very cool running bike, right? If I had to name one of the top 5 things I like about it, that would probably make the list. This thing is very, even in like 95 degree heat, you know, high summer, 100 degree heat, the bike is barely adding to it. Barely. You don't even notice the heat from it under 70 degrees. Like, you won't even feel any heat come off it. And down here it's cold. Like, I put my hand here, I can't even feel it. I am wearing double gloves, but you know what I mean. It's a cool running bike. That's good. It's good for making power. From the factory especially, you know, factory tune. It's a little hotter with the Ivan's tune. It runs this, but he changes the time the thermostat comes on to help that out. You make more horsepower, you have a hotter running engine, right? I mean, just the way they cast these blocks and heads, the way that they cool them, overcooled, these things, they've got a lot to give. They've got a lot of room to give in the tuning department. That's how, you know, 125 on the, you know, Motorcycle Magazine dynos and stuff like that turns into, you know, they call that 136. Kawasaki used to call it 136 horsepower from the factory. Nice little pop and crackle. Yeah, buddy. Makes, what do you call it? On Ivan's dyno, like 146 with his airbox tune and shit. And makes like 85 torque too, which like a manufacturer would call that 90 something, and they would call that like 160 horsepower. Totally not trying to get pulled over and arrested, have my ass beat by the cops. They'll do that shit. But hold up. Nice and gently. Sounds like a fucking beast. Still a little cold, still a little ticky. I need to get that that exhaust gasket changed, and it'll run better with that, you know, with that done too. Man, this thing runs like a beast. Sorry if I'm just rambling on, but I love this motorcycle. This thing has been so trusty to me. If you have any basic bike handling skills, this thing will take care of you. If you end up sliding it because you're too hard on the front brakes and you give it a little rear, too much rear, or you fuck up your downshifts, it's very easy to get this thing straightened out again. You know, I've been on, like, you know, Harleys and shit, when those things go sideways, man, you're on for the ride, brother. Rodeo, baby. But no, this thing's like, I've put this thing damn near like 75 degrees on like a slide on like ice, right? Wow, wide open throttle and brought it back straight. I've done it in the grass all the time. This thing will take care of you. And it's funny, you know, I think his video's gone now, but there used to be a vlogger called Gundammit Pete. And Gundammit Pete would say the same thing about this thing. This thing just, it feels like it's got your back. There we go. Oh, there's a little bit of water right there. Try to pick it up a little bit. But yeah. Thing's a beast, I love it. So let's compare it to the Gen 4 real quick, right? The Gen 4, a lot of people prefer the look of. And the seat looks like it might be a little better stock, right? You got basically the same stock exhaust. But what's different about the bike besides the looks? Two major things that stick out to me. The geometry, right? It's lower. The whole bike overall is lower and the tail is lower. I don't like that. The second thing that sticks out to me, and this is kind of a big one too, is the intake cam is a little bit milder. So Ivan, you can even look on Ivan's website. Sorry, I got my left hand on the clutch trying to get that helmet open. If you look on Ivan's website and you look at the tunes and his dyno charts, right? Let's go cruise through here, see if anybody's here. Sometimes bikes and nice cars like to congregate. But, you know, Kot's been running us out a lot lately. Anyway. If you look on Ivan's website and you look at the tunes for both bikes, you will see that the third gen rushes more to the top, it peaks more, and it builds more up top. And it makes a higher peak on Ivan's dyno, 146 versus like 140, like 6 horsepower. And it is something that not only do you feel, when I watch videos of these bikes, and I'm infatuated with this bike, so I've seen every Z1000 video on the net. Shout out to Nobody Moto, that dude's out there ripping it up. But anyways, fuck yeah, Nobody Moto. Anyway, but we got like nothing. There's a Mercedes over here. Who gives a shit, right? Nothing here today. We got this guy. This guy's here today. It's good to know. Yeah, when I watch videos of this bike, I can just tell this thing's a little bit more racy in the way it delivers its power. Those Fortunes just seem a little flat. And then when you combine the geometry changes that are, again, a little less sporty, I'm not digging it. You know what I mean? It's still a great bike. It's just, those are things that I would like to improve. And that bike makes them worse. You know, whereas like even on this bike, I wanted to jack the rear up more. I was even looking into suspension linkages and shit. Right now, I'm pretty happy with where it's at, honestly, the more I think about it. It is a street bike. And it's pretty comfortable how it is, even with the raised seat and the, I'm just going to go through here. But, yeah, the raised seat and the taller rear tire, which I think I was touching on earlier, a great improvement for this bike. Yeah, thing handles pretty good with that. Definitely better than stock. Definitely more neutral. You know, stock had like a heavy and then light. Heavy then suddenly light. Not really bad. Not like, you know, an old SV650 or, you know, something that's like beat up or something kind of bad, feeling like it's going to drop out from underneath you. But almost that. This tire profile is much more neutral. I've also found that despite the fact that so when you get it, right, these things take bumps hard. You'll hear people talk about that a lot. Like, when you hit a bump, it's about boom, man. It shakes you to the core, right? Something I've found, two suspension changes that I've found made this bike not only better in that regard. Oh shit, let me get rid of that wind for you. Not only better in that regard, but a better handling bike. And I got this, and you don't have to take this from me. You can take this from Dave Moss I forgot the name of this YouTuber, but he did a video of a track day where Dave Moss was at, and Dave Moss helped set up his bike. He had the same bike, same paint scheme and everything, right? Dave Moss, basically what he did to this bike was dial in a little bit of preload in the front, right? And pull compression from the rear. He said the preload was good in the rear. Now, a lot of owners will tell you these bikes, especially when they were new, and like, you know, these rear shocks weren't broken in and shit like that, they weren't actually really happy at all. You know, when you would get on the throttle in second, it might come up a little bit. It wouldn't surprise you like it'll do now, right? The way they set it up from the factory, especially when it's short wheelbase, they made that rear shock really stiff. They also gave it a lot of rebound, so that way it's always pushing out, it's always pushing back. It actually made a really good drag bike because of it. There's what the hell is his name? Wicked something. He was on the rider forums, and he has a couple YouTube videos. 18-year-old kid. He's got a video of him with still the stock headers on the bike, running like a 1030 something, and then he runs a 999 without a tune. Just a full Muzzy system back in the day when Muzzy made systems for the bike for that short period of time. This bike was a great drag bike out the factory. But what I found is that when you pull that rebound out of the shock, because it's almost like to the max in the factory, when you pull that rebound out just a little bit, or maybe like halfway back to not max, right? And you give it that little bit of front preload, oh, this thing handles so naturally now. It's almost like, I don't want to say like a ZX10, but it's not Z1000-ish anymore. It just needed a couple of little tweaks to feel so much better. It's always been a very easy to balance low speed bike, I think. Some people would say otherwise, but I think a lot of these people who are saying this are maybe outclassed by the bike that they're riding a little bit, and they're not, you know, they're out of their league, they're out of their element, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, this thing fucking balances fine for me, you know, like, love this thing. Oh, G8, yeah, buddy. Probably a V6, I didn't see GT badge on it. Why would they leave Pontiac G8 badge on it and remove GT? It's gotta be a V6. Man, those were nice cars. That's a car I wish they kept making. That and the GTO, I would, man, a G8, right? What a T6, T56, or whatever that new like 7-speed the Corvette's got. Oh my God! But without the lockout, oh my God! Talk about a freaking. That'd be a touring car right there. 400 horsepower, 7-speed manual. Fuck yeah. Anyway, back to the bike. I like cars too. Back to the bike. Ah man, what more is there to know? You know, what kind of mileage do I get? Since the tune, probably down more around like 35. I did not see an increase in mileage. I saw a decrease. Especially because the butterflies open up, you know, secondaries open up sooner and stuff like that. So when you're cruising 70 plus, you're drinking more fuel. It's just a fact. I've noticed it. But it's alright. I mean, it's still better than an FZ10, you know, and it's making the power of an FZ10. So I think it's fair to say these things have more to give. Like Kawasaki hid more in these things, you know, they got more to give. Same thing even over the Z900 nowadays. The Z900 I don't think has as much to give in a tune, the way that they've set it up. And I don't think it has as much to give in the way of weight loss, the way that they've set it up. Here we go down Schaumburg Road. Whoo. Bumpy, bumpy. This dude's got his dog out. That's good to see. But yeah, you know, the area I live, spent a lot of time riding around here this summer with Trinity. Still kind of hurt over that shit, but I get over it. Get over it. It's only been like a week and a half. It's still fresh, you know. But yeah. Great running bike. You know what I mean? 4,000 RPM, touch it. Alright. I know they say nowadays, Yamato Jitsu saying, don't hit the downshifts like that. You upset the suspension. I mean, I've practiced them a lot. I don't think I've done it that much. But regardless, with that to the side, I just think it sounds so damn good. It's still fucking red match. I don't care. Maybe on a track, you know, or like a high-spirited situation, if I need to grab a downshift or two, I still do rev match, you know. Maybe instead of rev matching 2 gears down, even clutchless, which is really hard on these Z1000 Ninja 1000 transmissions. Instead of doing that, I'll click. You know, I'll slow down and gear way down to like 4,000 RPM, and then double click it, and get it back up again. You might have even seen me do that on this ride already. I don't know, just to me, I like the sound. I like the neutral feelings. You know, in the same way that he says that it affects the suspension, I like this damn slipper clutch. So if I'm throwing gears like that down, not only am I wearing the clutch, I'm in danger of locking that rear wheel. And this bike has more than enough front brakes. Oh, that's one thing to talk about, the front brakes on this thing. Just warm them up for a second. This thing's got great fucking brakes. It's insane. This thing has like surprised me with how good it stops. It saves my ass in traffic with the way that it stops. So good that like when I go to something else, we're gonna stay at 45. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Brakes. I mean, and that's still just not even anything, you know? Let's go up this way. It's a little curvy. That lady's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm reviewing a bike, bitch. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Gotta be careful with cops through here too, though. That's another thing. A lot of them around here, huh? You know, I've never really been through these neighborhoods. You know, you guys really shouldn't do that. I'm not encouraging you to go through windy, twisty neighborhoods like this on quiet days and tear them up, because that's not cool, y'all. Let's not do that. We're not about to do that at all. This is gonna be a fucking cul-de-sac. Watch. I just led back. Yeah, do a cul-de-sac. I do it. Double cul-de-sac. It's a double sack. Alright, let's get the hell out of here, y'all. Again, autumn time. Tires don't like the cold. Can't see shit that way because of the sun. Risking my life. On your behalf, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. I have no idea where I'm at. You people are gonna hate me though real soon. So we'll be out of here soon. Well, I mean, I have an idea where I'm at. I actually have a really good sense of direction. I know where I'm at on a map. I understand where this neighborhood is and, you know, the square that it is. I just, you know, I don't know my way through it. That's one thing I like about Elk Grove. They didn't want people driving through these neighborhoods like a throughway. So they made them extremely complicated and fucking windy. Downers Grove is the same way. Anyways, there are a couple other suburbs that are that way too. Whereas a lot of the shit around here is, you know, set up more like a grid. But anyways, yeah, I love it because it makes it twisty. Okay, see the freaking pond right there. Yeah, this isn't as fun as that other one I was pulling into originally. I was Nergy, not the Devon. Derp. Devon's right over there. I mean, it's like, you know, same shit. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. stick's going away a little bit. Again, I'm not, even though it sounds like I'm racing it, all it really is like maybe 15, 20, 25% throttle max. You know what I mean? That's one of the great things about a 1000. If you have, oh, speaking of which, right? Good time to bring it up. If you have a disciplined throttle hand, you know, if you started riding on like a 250, 300, and you're used to like being able to just whomp it, or even having to whomp it to catch up, this will get you into trouble. You know what I mean? That's why I actually recommend starting on something, especially if you're 25-ish, you know, you're not like a kid. Starting on something more like and especially if you have the background of having ridden a smaller bike, like a, you know, a small dirt bike, or oh yeah, bumpy, or a scooter or something like that. You have that experience and everything else. I highly recommend starting on something more like a 500. Oops, turn off my headlight there. That's all I gotta be careful of. I always turn off my headlight. Because if you start on something too small, you're gonna be used to having to cast that thing up to get it going. You know, it's actually gonna teach you some bad habits of riding. You know, like changing lanes without your hands and shit like that. But yeah. I'm sure there's something else I gotta say about the bike. I've talked about comfort. Okay, so it is pretty comfortable. You actually have an okay amount of leg room. They're not super low, they're not super high. They're high enough to where you don't scrape them unless you're really almost in knee down territory. They're low enough that your feet are tucked up to the point where your legs are like flexing. You know what I mean? They're in a good spot. The bars, they fall pretty naturally to hand. I mean, it's actually a pretty natural, comfortable position to be in. The stock seat is a little hard, a little harsh, but you can get used to that. I put the sergeant seat on it. It's a little softer, and this thing goes straighter than my car without the hands. It's hilarious. Anyways. Not only did it increase the comfort, you know, it kind of jacks you up just a little bit, helps you get a little further over the front when you're really attacking a corner. You know, we're obviously not doing that today. It's a cold day. I'm on public roads, etc., etc. You know, a back road somewhere, that's kind of like negligible. You know, like I'm not gonna judge somebody for tearing up a back road. I never will. I'd be a fucking hypocrite. But you gotta pick your spots too. You can't just we're probably gonna have to run this. I highly doubt this is gonna sense us here. But yeah, fuck it, we're just gonna go. This would never fucking read me. I just already know. I come through here all the time. And obviously I don't want to wind it up too much right now, you know, in town and shit. But it's nice and mellow, barely cracking the throttle. I think he's got a lot of power. I think he's got a lot of character to deliver. People say 4-cylinders don't have character. I completely disagree with that statement. Yeah. This thing's got a lot of character. It chugs, it burbles, it pops, it snarls. That intake, even though the exhaust is not super screaming loud, but definitely loud enough to hear. There's a Itasca Kappa, and they're fucking everywhere this weekend. They've been like that since like Thursday too. Anyway, this intake, even, or especially, I should say, since the mod, the Airbox mod, has this great snappy, barky, howly thing that it does that I absolutely adore. Like pretty much everything on this motorcycle. You know, if I had to make a list of things I didn't like, there's that Itasca cop, by the way. That's gonna get me. He ain't gonna get me, boy. I hope not. I got my wallet? I hope. Yeah, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. Don't fuck with me. No, don't fuck with me. Yeah. Obviously, I would. Oh, shit. Ooh, looks like we're gonna have to drive right past him, boys, unless you feel like stopping at the train tracks. Man, this has been like the least focused fucking review video ever. I'm probably gonna have to edit the shit out of this, or just call it something else. Like me riding through town talking about my bike sometimes. And then driving around assholes in Honda Civics. That way you can pop a Huey in at least a somewhat legal manner. Alright. No better way to ask for trouble than to drive right back past that cop. But that freight train can be like 20 minutes. So yeah, you know, despite this is definitely not going to be a review video. I guess I'm talking about the bike in this. It's just fucking Sunday's moto vlog, you know. Anyway, let's slow it the fuck down. There's a cop right here, dumbass. It's his bike. It's not me. It's not me, it's the bike. But it's doing it again, you see. It's like, come on, come on. Any sport motorcycle will do that to you. They always take you on. They're more comfortable going fast. Do you know what I mean? That's where they feel good. That's where they feel satisfying to ride. But this one does still have the ability to putt around. I've ridden it a lot around, you know, side streets of the city of Chicago and all that. Not on one wheel like Brian 636. Don't get me wrong, I can ride out a wheelie, first gear, second gear, I can pop them, but I'm not that comfortable doing them on the big bike. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can do them, I'm just not gonna show you. No, I can like ride them out when they happen, and I'm not like afraid of them because I'm used to doing them on four-wheelers and dirt bikes and shit. I just haven't gotten comfortable yet revving this thing out and dumping the clutch. That's really what it comes down to. You know, I can pop it up in like second and first gear on some throttle and it'll come up quick, but I would like to learn how to do it the proper way at some point. The rest of my riding's pretty good though. My slow speed stuff is pretty solid. My how should I put it? The way I handle a bike, I've got, you know, a good amount of practice with that. I can, you know, steer pretty much any bike I get on adequately through the corners. I'm not, you know, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm sure this has something to do with the bike. It's first gear. One time this dude, an asshole, an asshole, came whipping through here in a Corvette as I was coming through here, basically like you saw me doing right there. Damn near hit me. I mean, I ended up damn near dropping the bike, like hitting the front brake and almost, you know, because I was going right over that freaking little bump at the time too. And, oh yeah, no, I almost, you know, panic stop. Hey, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm the best rider out there, and I certainly wasn't in that moment. I've certainly improved since then. But in that moment, that motherfucker almost got me. Oops, turn signal's on. Ready? 250. Like no distance. And again, I wasn't even hard on the brake. That was relatively light. Alright, found first gear. Here we go. Right when I went to shift, I fell into that freaking manhole sewer thing, so I missed that third gear shift. Again, that wasn't wide open throttle. That wasn't to the limit. This guy's on his bicycle, little kid. He's just like, hey, don't hit me. Or maybe it was a woman. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a white woman and a kid. But, yeah, that's gonna get edited out. Alright, here we go, boys. Still not really pushing it. As you can see, there's a lot of potholes, car sinks, traffic. I mean, bike runs good. Handles good. Handles like it's on rails is how I would describe it. Front end doesn't really feel that vague, especially with these tires that are getting a little heat in them. You know, some of the older Z1000s, the front end felt kind of vague on them. This thing feels pretty pointed, pretty direct. You know what I mean? Like you can, even with no hands, rolling in like fourth gear at 25 miles an hour, put it where you want it. That's this bike. That's this bike's character. It's got your back. This bike will go down the road without you. No doubt. Here, let's stop here. This is my old junior high. Oh yeah. That was a terrible downshift, by the way. Yep, this is the Grove. We used to fight here. When you had a problem, we'd be like, alright, well, I'll see you at the fucking Grove. Those are the Geese. When you had a problem, you would call them. You'd be like, alright, I'll fucking call the Geese. No, I'm just kidding. Fucking Wooddale police are gonna be here in a minute. Anyway, let's do a real quick walk around to this bad boy. If y'all are thinking about getting one, I say get the bike. They're easy to work on once you figure out how to get the spark plugs out. It's not as hard as some people make it out to be, right? The only thing that's hard on this bike I've found yet is that front sprocket nut. That thing is a bitch. That thing is a bitch. Oh, I don't read my plate. Whatever. We got a leaf up here. But yeah, thing runs great, man. I love this full Acro system. Oh yeah. Yeah, sounds fucking awesome. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Oh, I'm sorry about that, baby. I didn't mean to spank you like that. Bike's been good to me over the years, though. Alright, here we go. You're going the wrong way. There's only one way out. No, I'm just kidding. Back when I was in middle school, on nice days, they would, you know, we would do it in like time sections that we built up to. They would just run us right around this for PE for like the first half. So it'd be like 10 minutes of running around this in a circle. Man, honestly, it's kind of hard. I hate running a short track like that. I find it harder to run a mile on a short track. Even though some people find it easier. Yep. Hey, you boys work out? You guys like to lift? Run a little bit? Hey, we got a biker! My dude! Yeah! I knew there'd be at least a couple people out today trying to take advantage of this fucking weather. You gotta. When you live in an area like this is how you ride through the winter. 40 some odd degree day, you're out here. No doubt. Again, I'm in Cop Central. Cold tires. We're gonna take it easy. Keep it on our side of the road. Remember when Max first used to be all over the road? I don't want to be a super Max Verse hater. The dude fucking made it to 6 and he's paid for him. Ain't my business. But Man, back in the day, the way he used to ride was wild. Yammy Noob, too. Yammy Noob used to ride like a dumbass. Not to say that what I was just doing was smart, but he's come a long way, too. Props to Yammy Noob, honestly. His channel's come a long way. The dude's really made a man out of himself, I gotta say. You know, hats off to him, hats off to the business he's running. The content he's pumping out. The dude keeps me entertained, man. At first I might have been on the anti-Yammy Noob bandwagon, right? Oh, he's riding, so, you know, because I've always been against crossing the double yellows. Because it scares the fuck out of me when cars do it, right? Like, well, obviously, why would I cross into their territory? You know, it's like, stay on your side, I stay on mine. Same with you geese, fuck you! Anyway, they're assholes. Anyway. He's yelling at the geese again. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get this thing home soon or I'm gonna catch a cold. I know, sorry, get a little runny. Get a little runny. My words are getting a little slurry. Man, it's been great riding with y'all. I just shot that other video today. It was kind of had a bit of a downer talking about Trinity and all that shit. But, fuck, man, you come out on something like this, you can't help but feel good and smile and laugh and joke, you know what I'm saying? Ah, hell. Again, Cop Central. I'm not even gonna touch it. We'll save that for another video.